he was able to take what God has given him, because he had a tough childhood coming up, Prince. And his father, giving him the strength that he was given to persevere, because his father used to hit his mom and he used to have to break that up. And that puts you in a dimension to where you are, now you feel like you're self-sufficient, self-preservation. How talented this kid was at that time. And to have a record label sign him at 17 years old, and had the record executives knew what they were signing, they, would have moved as fast as he had. They gave him his own record label, Paisley Records, his own foundation. But they didn't realize that this man moved in terms of making music, writing, producing, and directing at the speed of light. And so he can go into a studio by himself and come out with an album. That was unheard of at that time. That's for me, for what I do. I know you. I said I just go out to Cali, just drive out to Cali and make a way. When I was out there last time, I didn't have to sell anything. And I remember walking down the street. This is very funny. I was walking down the street like la la la, la la la. And when you say everything doesn't have meaning, I'm walking, and first, who do I see? My friend Roderick Rhodes from St. Anthony's. He's out there. From Jersey City. What are you doing here? And at the time, he was at Kentucky, playing with Jamal Mashburn. So what they were calling him, the King and the Prince. Two local names. So for me, he was like, Roderick, I know you since All Saints. He used to go to school in Jersey City called All Saints. Was Luther right with them back then? Might have played with Luther Wright as well in high school. And he was like, I changed colleges. I'm going to USC next year. And for me, that was totally out of the box that I believe that I put him into. Really stick with one school the way St. Anthony's, nurtured him, despite the bullet, and be the best person on that team. But, once you go there, and the best person on the team is Jamal Mashburn at that time. And obviously, he, couldn't go through the testament of the trials and tribulations that are connected to seeing it from the beginning to the end. That's a necessary step of, it's not, some people might call it quitting. What I call it is allowing yourself to breathe in a space that's unfamiliar. The quitting part comes in, you quitting on your team and everybody that supported you during that process. Those are the people I care about most, are the people who navigated their lives and was able to, form a whole union of security for a person who's a star. But when you have, the alignment that I, walked into with my so-called fake marriage, I thought that that was a collaboration of like-minded individuals who cared about children. And so she would be she's a principal. She could have been a disciplinarian. And I would literally be, the gym teacher and bring in highly advanced science teachers that I could totally go in and sit down and listen to them teach to learn more about science at the same time. Top grade music teachers and so forth. Like this is my plan. The Op Corp, right? Like she has Elm Corps. Mine was the X Factor school. Teaching kids how to, boogie board in school. What? Properly get their balance in school. Because some kids have the overall eye-hand coordination to ride skateboards. Well, if we're going to advance, I think 10 out of 10 children should at least know how to ride a skateboard. And because what that does is now in science class, instead of us continue to just to break open frogs and learn about frogs, how about we start innovating scooters that are hovercrafts, electric, magnetic hovercraft scooters, right? Because the technology's there. It's just that there's nobody to oversee it. All of the teachers want to stick to the same program. Keep our, and that's why kids, when they go to school, their minds all over the place. They have no motivation to do anything remotely close to any of our leaders today. And I guess the funny thing is I've been seeing Mike Tyson. He's doing his thing. Even what's the other guy's name? Even 50 Cent does his thing on a certain level. But as a young man or a young woman, is that who you look as an example towards happiness, security, and being able to give positive message is to the masses that have paid for you to get to that level to where you're able to go on vacation, private boats, throw parties. When you're at that level, when you're granted, permission to carry a torch of a testimony, so that you in turn can show your, the people that are coming up under you how to do that. And I really thought that, in that time that could have aligned a bunch of, I had them all together, the Mental Health and Wellness Initiative that he initially just, I spoke about it, but foundations was built. Everyone on my team gave $150 to his donation. But I didn't know I had, this Tonya Lewis sitting there and they're over there snickering that, don't worry, when the money comes, just give it to me. He's from Jersey. He don't deserve this. It took me 15 years to get to this point. I remember her I didn't even know where that was coming from at the time. It took me 15 years to get, to have people recognize she was just saying this to me. And I didn't know why. She goes, Larry, you really, I don't know how you did it, got so close. But what she didn't realize when I first, got out of prison, I aligned correctly with, this, even that, once you took me to the Just Leadership Conference, I knew that's where I was supposed to be. And the person, Glenn, he, I don't know, how grimy he is. I just know that there was something when I saw him in his face. It was something that he was, I don't know, afraid of or hiding. So I never really got a chance to connect with him on a man-to-man basis. But what I did know, that he was watching while I was there at Fortune Society. And, I just thought it was a watch of, like maybe he wanted you and he wanted, to have somebody to say, this guy is a foof in class. There's no way he's gonna grow. That's just an assertion, but whatever. And, so moving forward and getting married during the pandemic, a lot of people made some uncontrollable decisions at that time. She navigated that. Her mom wants her to get married, and I think a lot of it really had to do with, when her mom was dying. The ironic thing is, it was my name that she was screaming on her deathbed. That I'm still working on figuring out. Because those things leave lasting imprints on me. And so when her mom died, I said I have to go to another level. And what I'm doing, it started. But I didn't know people were watching so intently to see me be destroyed or things that I worked hard for taken away from me. I got the principal in Brooklyn Collaborative Middle School. It was funny, I was driving by on Mother Gaston, and there's a picture over there of Jocko, a famous coach that really cared for children in the inner city. And Jocko is Greg Jackson's father. Now, Greg's a principal at the school I was in. I worked very hard to collaborate with him, and he said, listen, man, I can really make it happen in your school, And so once that thing started happening, guess what? Because the streets watch. They started giving him funding for social. I remember people were coming in with agriculture, like white people, right, who were monitoring what his classes were doing. So, hey, listen, because you got that down there, we could bring that same concept up here for the children, so they're not just sitting in desks all day. right? If kids want to really learn, then you give them a whole new way of learning, so they're totally in tune and they want to listen. But if you're going over the same curriculums every single day, the ones that have ADD are going to tune out and do what they normally do. And so I got played there too, because like you said, I go into these situations, my eyes closed shut, and what happened was he's saying, this is great, this is great, this is great, and I started doing PTA meetings on Wednesdays from like 5 to 6. I'll be on the phone talking on it, just asking advice on, my child comes home and, he's obese and, he doesn't want to do his homework, little stuff like that. It's just like, there's a way, because kids like, they like to be challenged, right? And right now, by you yelling at him, that challenge is mute. He's gonna eat because he can eat, and he's gonna continue to hear you yell. So I would just come up with different scenarios that parents were really taking heed to. Me, beknownst to me, that was jealous and envy on Greg Jackson's part, because now he's like, oh, because I just left Brooklyn Collaborative Middle School, and I left there at 3:45, and right now it's 4:30, and I'm at my second job, motivating the masses there, helping people train. So I saw it, but I didn't see. Oh, you working there too? Wow. Like, it was just like, I don't know why it was this a big thing. Like, I'm nobody. I'm here. I'm just here to. The children over here needed help. They love the superhero kids fitness program. Well, I don't know. This, and I had an aqua program. I was doing the same thing. Young little kids, who didn't have real good motor skills. Listen, let's strengthen them up so when they jump in their water, they're gonna swim like fish. I had it, and so one day, I don't know who called who, but I was set up, and so that that goes there. That job's gone there, and I'm like, this. I didn't fight with anybody. I just left. Like, this has got to be. I'm in a comic book right now. After then I go back to the middle school where I'm thinking everybody loves me, and it was just those. I come in. Everyone's like, hey, Mr. B, hey, X. Well, please, I saw you on Instagram, this and that. Just give me 5 in the hallways. And then the gentleman who got me another gig at where it was a conflict of interest, he couldn't even have his name on a paper because the principal was his cousin. But I didn't know that what they wanted to do was, because there's some sign-in sheet papers that you have to sign and hand over at the end, pretty much at the end of the program, and that's how you get paid with the contract. So the whole time, what was happening is he had the papers, so he had control. But one day he was like, hey, I need you to go in and just hold on to the papers. So I started holding on to papers, getting all the signatures, right? And then I knew it was something funny. There was his wife was like, hey, do you want me to do your invoice for you? Just send me the papers via email, or just photocopy them, email me, right? So I was like, hey, this is the, I was like, nah, I'm good. I believe I can handle this. Fill out my own invoice and send this in to the teacher. The very next day, I go into the school, and they say I'm not allowed there. get off the premises, right? And for me, it's just can you tell me why? What was the reason? And I knew the reason because I got the funding, right? Because the what the whole prize that I was supposed to receive alone. This not alone. I got probably like 5,000 for my contract. What I was supposed to get was another piece of the money that had got downloaded for the program in the school for teachers and children. Art, music, and fitness. I created that for the kids, right? And on a way that they were gonna, go to school and be like, I can't wait for that class to open up. Because I had people that were on a spectrum, young kids. I made it my TikTok track team because their motor skills weren't up to par when I first met them. But by a month later, they were doing backflips. And so to have all of that be taken away from me and, sitting in a shelter and having anybody say that I cannot do something puts me in a space. Because ultimately, besides robbing, killing, raping, lying, and just hating on people, I could do whatever the fuck I want. Because God made it that way. That I should be able to live a happy life and inspire other people. I don't have a problem with it.